it again, you've been had.
What does Islam say about the prophet, the Islamic prophet Muhammad color? And this is found in book called Sahih al-Bukhari, and it's hadith number 63. And in Islam, there is the Quran. That's the most, revered, respected book. And then you have 6 books that they call them the 6 Sahihs. And within the 6 Sahihs, there is 2, Sahih al-Bukhari is number 1, like 97 to 98 accuracy in it. So this is hadith number 63. And please, this, you need to share this with as many people as possible, Black people. If you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you need to go through this and examine it and ask your imam, ask your sheikh, is this true? But study it first and pray. Pray, you believe there's one true God. Pray to that God to reveal to you, is this true? Is what I'm believing true, or I need to reconsider? Okay, this is how it begins. Said, while we were sitting with the prophet in the mosque, a man came riding on a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque, tied its foreleg, and then said, who amongst you is Muhammad? At that time, the prophet was sitting amongst us, the companions, said, leaning on his arm. We replied, and this seems like this was pre-discussed. And this is how they replied. They said, this white man reclining on his arm. Muhammad was white. Another book called Sahih Muslim, and the hadith is 6081. Abu Juhayfa reported, he said, I saw Allah Messenger, Muhammad, that he had white complexion and had some white hair. And Hassan ibn Ali resembled him. So white complexion was very important. It was discussed previously. So everybody had the same opinion about what to say. And this is another one. Sunan Abu Dawud says, I still seem to see the whiteness of the forearm of the apostle of Allah when he rolled up his sleeves. So now his complexion is white, his forearm is white. Just, let's see. Let's continue. And this is a book called Ash-Shifa, written of Qadi Ayyad, page 387. Ahmad ibn Sulaiman, is a companion, said, whoever says that the prophet was black is killed. So you see this distinction. If you call Muhammad anything but white, you will be killed. Muhammad is a white man. They keep saying, oh, Christianity is a white man religion. But what is this we're reading from their own material? I am not making anything up here. Well, can somebody just tell us how white is this man?
Muhammad Rasulullah. This is Muhammad Rasulullah. Anas ibn Malik says, he says, I came out one night, it was the full moon night. And I looked at the moon, and in the desert, understand, the moon is an awesome sight. It is smooth, it is radiant, it is clear, it is gentle compared to the scorching sun at which they are used to. So the moon was the epitome of beauty. So he says, I came out at a full moon night and I looked at the moon and I saw it beautiful, handsome. So I said, let me go see if the moon is more handsome or my prophet is more handsome. Let me see if that is more beautiful or the prophet is more beautiful. So I went and I saw him standing afar. So I looked at his face and I looked at the moon and I looked at his face and I looked at the moon and I looked at his face and I looked at the moon, and he said, Wallahi, he was more handsome than the moon in its entirety. That is just the look of your Rasul. Aisha radiyallahu anha says, I was sewing with the needle. My needle dropped in the dark. I couldn't find it. I said, Ya Rasul, I can't find it. He moved his face close, and I swear, out of the radiance of his face, I found my needle.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
What does Islam say about Muhammad color? We go back to this, another hadith from Sahih Bukhari, narrated Abu Juhayfa By chance, I went to the Prophet at noon while he was at Al-Ataba, we'll say resting in the tent. And this is here, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. Bilal, they use this person here to attract black people to Islam. And I wanted to see and make a conclusion with your own mind, from your own mind. Say, Bilal came out of the tent and pronounced the azan. The azan is the call of prayer that you hear at different times. If you live close to a mosque, I used to live close to a mosque, and early in the morning, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala al-falah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Hayya. This person, Bilal, was the one who calls for prayer. Called azan for prayer. Azan is the call, the person who calls to prayer. I say, and entering again, he did that. He brought out the water which was left after Allah's apostle had performed the ablution. Before a Muslim, if you got to pray a bunch of times a day, you got to clean yourself. You got to wash yourself. And this person, Bilal, who was a black slave, he did the prayer, and he goes back. He waits for the Prophet to wash up, and he takes that water. So who will do all these things? And I'll tell you why in a minute, why this guy, the black guy, was the one who calls for prayer. He has to wake up earlier than anybody, and he has to do the chores and everything. So now another interesting thing is that the people rushed to take some of the water. What were the people doing with the water? We have different stories. They will drink the water he washes with. They will eat his snot. They will drink his pee. All that are true stories, but I'm not dealing with that today. But said Bilal again went in and brought a spear-headed stick, and then Allah apostle came out. So he's the in between, send him here, gopher, as if we're now looking at the whiteness of his leg, and that's the bottom line. You see over and over complexion, his leg, his forearm, he's white. So let's continue talking about Bilal, and I will call him here Bilal the Mic, or unintentional salesman. He did not mean to be a salesman, but that's what he ended up being. Narrated Qais, and this is from Sahih al-Bukhari again, 3755, and this is after the death of Muhammad. Bilal was still a slave. They keep saying, and a lot of black Muslims join Islam because they tell him the story of Bilal. Bilal was this, Bilal was that. No, Bilal was a slave, died a slave. Bilal said to Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr was one of the caliphate, the one who followed when Muhammad died, and one becomes a ruler in his state. And then another one, Khulafa al-Rashidun. Bilal is talking to Abu Bakr. He said, if you bought me, so after Muhammad is dead, he was taken as a slave by Abu Bakr. He said, if you have bought me for yourself, then keep me as a slave for yourself. But if you bought me for Allah, then leave me for Allah work. So he said, so in either case, he was bought. In either case, he's a slave. But he said, okay, you keeping me to do your housework. He said, if you bought me for that, okay, well, I guess I will have to accept my fate. But if you bought me to do Allah work, so let me go and do Allah work. He was deceived. And you, as a black person, you are today, you saying that you're a Muslim, you are deceived also. Bilal was nothing. He just had black people are, if you see African singers, South Africa, they have so melodious voices and